It had been a difficult week in October for staff at Cape Town International Airport. For a few critical days, jet fuel stocks at the airport were almost depleted. A ship laden with thousands of tons of precious fuel destined for Cape Town was supposedly delayed by high seas somewhere on the Indian Ocean. The South African aviation industry has become dependent on imported jet fuel since oil refineries in the country have stopped producing the product.
We certainly do make jet fuel at some of the refineries, but there are other refineries that have shut down their production, and especially locally, we do not produce fuel in Cape Town, and therefore we have had a greater dependence on imports.
Mark McLean is the Regional General Manager for the Airports Company in the Western Cape and has stressed that ACSA is not a fuel supplier, but rather a facilitator to ensure fuel is delivered accurately and safely to aircraft parked at the airport.
Absolutely. So there are quite a few fuel suppliers in the country, and they all have their own traders. They all do their own purchases of jet fuel, and as a collective, they all bring jet fuel to the airport and they on-sell it to the airline. So our role as an airport is to construct and manage and maintain the storage facilities, the infrastructure used to bring the fuel in, to get the fuel to the aircraft. And we obviously also play a facilitation role to look at overall stock levels. But as I say, the actual supply chain of the fuel is managed by the fuel suppliers themselves.
Class A NOTAMs had notified airlines of the rapidly diminishing Jet A1 fuel stock, and non-stop flights were advised to consider the OR Tambo International Airport in Johannesburg as a technical fuel uplift option. The North American operator United Airlines had however opted to temporarily suspend their midweek 15-hour non-stop transatlantic service from Newark to Cape Town.
It's unfortunate that United cancelled because it's also because of individual contracts with fuel suppliers. So even though we conserve a total volume of stock in our tanks, there's an apportionment of that volume for different suppliers. So different suppliers hold different quantities of jet fuel, and each supplier has its own individual contract with an airline. So you can imagine some suppliers are running lower than others. So it is unfortunate that we had this one cancellation of United Airlines. I'm aware that a lot of the passengers have been accommodated on alternative flights, but you're absolutely correct. It's an inconvenience. It's something that we try to avoid at all costs, and we trust that we will prevent a repeat of such an issue or incident again.